Now, live from the 2015 Vancouver International Wine Festival, Anthony Gismondi and Casey Wilson. This is Tony and Casey's Best of Food and Wine on Sea Isle 650.
Who can it be now? Who can it be now?
Who can it be now? What a great intro. Thank you, Arthur. Well, we've been shooting in the last segment, shooting game, and now we have Fox Run Vineyards. I don't know if that's a juxtaposition. Our guest is Scott Osborn. He's the president and co-owner of Fox Run Vineyards from Finger Lakes. I think it's the first time we've had a New York winery inside the show. Welcome to the Best of Food and Wine.
Oh, thank you, Tony. It's great to be here.
How are you enjoying Vancouver?
I'm loving Vancouver.
You're out of the snow for a bit, so.
That is, although I came a day early to go skiing at Grouse. And,
no snow.
No.
You had to go to Whistler.
Yeah, but you know, I'm amazed at the weather here. So it's a lot nicer than it is back home. So.
Yeah.
Well, we never thought you could grow grapes in New York State.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that too. And a number of years ago, somebody started growing the vinifera grapes, Dr. Frank, and they survived.
Yeah.
The lakes are so deep, like Seneca Lake, where I live, and is over 200 meters deep. And the last time it froze was 1912.
Right.
So it acts like a heater.
Maybe this winter it'll freeze.
And actually, it hasn't even come close.
No, so much snow. Well, we know a little bit about it because, of course, we have grapes on the other side of the lake in Niagara.
Yep.
So, well, not the other side. I guess
How
the
far
other side.
is that from you? How far is the Niagara
It's about
region?
2.5 hours from me, from my car, depending on the border.
Right.
Sure.
We know that one.
Yeah, hours. New York, the New York wine producers have a booth here at the show. You're pouring some wine. How's the reaction been?
It's been great. I mean, people always think of New York as Manhattan, so they're pretty surprised to see, wineries there.
So this is how would you characterize the New York wine industry? How could you sort of wrap it up and give us a bit of a?
It's a cool climate region.
Yeah,
for sure. And so the wines are all tend to be lighter in style, crisp acidity. Very food friendly wines.
We hear about Riesling. Would that be one of the major whites that are coming out of there?
In the Finger Lakes, for sure. Yeah. And then I brought one of those for us to taste. But Riesling is the Finger Lakes. Mother Nature gave us one of the best regions in the world to grow Riesling. So.
Okay, it's a good lead-in. Let's try this Riesling. This is the Fox Run. I can't see the vintage from here, but
this is the 2013.
Okay.
This is our semi-dry style.
And you have, I assume, I mean this on like you have your own style, but it's not a German wine. Is it more like Ontario? Is it more like California? I don't know.
Well, we like to say it's more like the Finger Lakes.
Good
I think it's a very, very distinctive style.
Yeah.
People always try to categorize us into, Mosel or Rhine or Alsace, and I don't think you can. I think we're very distinctive.
Yeah, what's the trend? Are they drier, or are they off-dry, or are they sweet, or you do all of them? Or?
We do everything. I mean, I at Fox Run, we have 11 different Rieslings.
Wow.
And, but we have 2 that are just commercially available to everywhere in the world, and then we do a whole bunch of others that we mess around with, and small limited lots. And what's that?
Did you grow your grapes?
Yes.
I
have 50 acres of grapes, and it's all right on overlooking Seneca Lake. And my lowest vineyards are within 50 meters of the water. So
I'm enjoying this wine. Now, what about the alcohol level in this wine? It seems like it's not
12%.
Yeah.
It's 11.8 in there.
Delicious. And you've got a few million people next door to you in New York City. Do you manage to drag them up to the Finger Lakes? Or where do the people come from?
Well, the majority of the people come within 100 miles of the winery.
Right?
Oh, yeah. We are starting to get lots of people out of New York City, but they always call and they say, what bus do I take to get to the vineyards?
Oh my goodness!
Can I get the train?
Because they don't have a car.
No, they don't have a car. So
that's a fantastic point. New Yorkers don't have cars, so how can they go to visit anybody?
So they get up there though, and there's a lot of places.
Can we visit your winery?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're open. We're open every day of the year except for 4. We're closed Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, and Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, I'd be happy with Riesling, but I know a lot of people love red wine. What's going on in the region for red wine? And,
well, there's
I know that you brought one.
Two real good red varieties. One is Cabernet Franc, and the other is Lemberger, which is also known as Blaufränkisch.
Okay, yeah.
This is our 2012 Cabernet Franc. Cabernet Franc is a very winter hardy red.
Yep.
So it survives the winters. It's
nice.
just got great food wine. We've been able to get very good varietal characteristics out of it.
And how have you come to this business?
What did you do before wine?
Well, years ago, I had a real estate company in Northern California that specialized in ranches and resorts. And way back then, in 1980, the interest rates went to 22%,
Right.
if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Well, people don't buy ranches and resorts.
Yeah.
So I got involved working in a winery, hand labeling bottles, and decided to close my company and learn about wine. And I'm from Rochester, and I went back to visit family one day or one Christmas and discovered Cool Climate Wines and decided that's what I wanted to make. And so I moved back to the Finger Lakes.
Fantastic. And here, I used to go to Rochester to a wine store in Rochester that had
Century Liquors.
Unbelievable selection of wines.
Sherwood Deutsch.
Yeah, I grew up in Hamilton, so that was the only place I could find great wine when I was a kid.
And he's got one of the best Burgundy collections in the whole world there. So,
well, these are two terrific wines, Cabernet Franc and Riesling from New York State. Now, are you pouring at the booth? You poured several different wines, I would imagine.
Yeah, we have a number of wines from Dr. Frank's.
Yep.
We also have a winery, Brotherhood, from the Hudson Valley. You're going to talk to Phil here shortly. And then we have another, Channing's Daughters from Long Island. So we've brought a cross-section of wines so people can see the breadth of New York.
What's the plan for New York and Canada? How do you see? I mean, you're right next door to us. I know you do stuff in Ontario. Yeah. But what about the rest of the country?
Well, I do a lot of business in Alberta, and that's sort of one of the reasons I'm coming this way, because I like the wine consumer. You know, people are knowledgeable, they're open-minded to try new regions.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're from New York and you're making wine, it's like, people are incredulous, and many people won't try them just because they're from New York.
Yes, right.
How can you make good wines in New York?
The Jets, the Islanders, we have enough of that stuff.
I love that you close your tasting room on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. Tell me, I want to know what you like to drink with your style of Riesling.
Well, with this
what you like to eat.
What I like to eat. Well,
that was a great question,
Yeah.
Indian curry.
Indian curry, perfect.
A tandoori chicken in this Riesling is a match made in heaven. And, it's refreshing. If you think about curry, even Thai food, a lot of the condiments that go along with it are a lot of the characteristics that you get out of Riesling. And a nice little semi-dry 24-gram residual sugar Riesling. And
perfect with that, eh?
It's perfect.
And what about your Cab Franc?
Cab Franc, that's a good question. I got to think what I do. Cabernet Franc, usually hamburgers, pizza, and Thanksgiving turkey.
Great.
Turkey with Cab Franc is a good. I like that.
That's a good match.
Our guest is Scott Osborn. He's the president and co-owner of Fox Run Vineyards. Now, how many years have you been open as a winery?
Well, the winery itself, this is our 25th anniversary.
Wow.
I bought it in 1994.
Yeah.
It was really
when
funny.
You had a fortune, and
actually, my original partner had a fortune. That's why. But I bought it from a couple who wanted to retire, who started the winery. They wanted to retire to a winery, and they called me 2 years after they opened up and said, "We want to get out."
Yep.
And at that time in my life, I'm going, "Why would you want to get out of a winery? This is like the most beautiful thing that one would ever want to do."
Yeah.
Well, they said it wasn't retirement. And I said, okay.
No, it's not a retirement job, right?
No, it's not a retirement, not unless you're really loaded. But and then I said, well, why are you selling it to me? And they said they didn't want to make the second mistake in the wine business. And I said, what's the first? They said, starting a winery and not knowing what you're doing. And I go, well, that makes sense. Well, what's the second? And they said, selling it to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
Great.
So,
that's good.
And I was fortunate. I had a partner who just had a lot of money.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
And have
So
you ever
that
seen
got you off to a good start.
That got me off to a good start, and then my wife's sister and husband bought my old partner out, and so now we're family.
So you got another generation.
Yeah.
So is there something you would have done differently knowing what you know now?
There's a million things.
Everything,
I would do.
no? Yeah.
Everything. Yeah, it's a, it's a real challenge. I mean, if I'd known my partner was going to die, then I would have done things differently.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that, you in hindsight,
Yes.
you would do differently. But, I love my life. I love living where I live. I love making the wines that I do. And I have wonderful staff that just are wonderful people to work with. And we were actually on Thursday named as one of the winery of the year in New York State.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was exciting. And I wasn't there for the presentation. My wife had to do it, which put her over the edge.
That's good for her.
Yeah, it's good for her. So.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's a fantastic award to get. That's got to be rewarding.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was, and we've done a lot to help out the industry. My winemaker is always helping the smaller wineries out there because, there's always challenges. We're lucky to get C2 vintages the same in 10 years.
Yeah.
In warmer climates.
A lot of variability, yeah.
And it's really hard. The learning curve is very
How many
slow.
how many wineries exist today in New York State?
Well, there are about 375.
Wow.
And when I bought my winery on Seneca, there were 14 wineries on Seneca Lake. There are now 80 on Seneca Lake. So if you want to come visit, you can spend a month there and go to a lot
Pretty
of
good.
wineries.
Would I see a fox if I went there?
Yes.
Running.
Sometimes. Sometimes you see them on the road. That's, they just don't make it across. But
Yeah. Roadkill.
Yep.
Scott, really great to catch up with you. We've had actually two very delicious wines. So if you're actually coming to the show tonight or you're here this afternoon and listening, drop by the New York State booth and stick your nose into those glasses. Try some Riesling, some Cabernet Franc from FoxRunVineyards. Delicious.
And if you can, ask for Fox Run, because we and the other New York wineries would really like to come here and sell our wines in BC. So.
Yeah.
Great. So is
I don't
this
know why it can't happen.
better lifestyle than resort real estate?
Oh, yeah. It's a lot harder work, but
Yeah.
but no, it's a wonderful lifestyle where you can eat and drink and meet wonderful people. You can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
Great.
Thanks, Scott.
All righty.
Thank
It's
you.
great.
Scott Osborn, president and co-owner of Fox Run Vineyards, has joined us here on CIL 650. You're listening to a very special edition of the Best of Food and Wine. We're live from the floor of the Vancouver International Wine Festival. It's year 37. Australia's the theme. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
There's lots more still ahead. Live from the 2015 Vancouver International Wine Festival, this is Tony and Casey's Best of Food and Wine on CIL 650.